Hi, my name's Chevrolet Guerin. I'm a flexible programmer in the creation of Yvette. Today I'll go over a quick review of what I did in Yvette. My main focus was creating the enemy and doing all the enemy AI, behavior trees, AI controllers and tasks. I also did some of the enemy health bars, in this case mini boss, and touch projectiles and sprites. As in my previous video, I will use small enemy as a template and then discuss any parts of the other enemies that I felt was interesting. I'll also go into a little additions I did in either health bars, projectiles and sprites. As you can see here, we've got small enemy. Just quickly here, as we can see, I added a feature here where when we could actually select the color of the sprite of the enemy, we could also select the different types of attacks and things like that, an idle sort of side of things for that enemy, depending on which enemy you chose, whether it was red, blue, green or pink. Based on that, it would set the health bar. When we created the small enemy, we'd have a placement vector that would allow you to have a return to base situation for that enemy. It would just return if it lost sight of the player. We would change the animation of the enemy based on event tick. So if we were attacking, or if line of sight, and or if we were moving, this would update the animation. It also determine what kind of attack we would do. Like in this case, we'd have a situation where we would either dash or fire. I wanted to change it where there would be a variety time-wise or duration when this type of attack would occur. So it wouldn't be like sequential all the time. It would kind of like stop, start, and give a little bit more of a pause, attack again. So it would just be a bit of a variation there. And as we can see here, this would determine the type of attack. Based on an integer, it would go dash or fire. In the case of me determining line of sight, as I mentioned in my previous video, we used the cylinder because the way that Unreal had done it, you couldn't see past an enemy, and because of that, because of being a 2D game, we decided to use that. We would iterate through projectiles because enemies would fire on the base of their health bar, the sequence of their health bar. So that's why I created that. I also had, in this case for the small enemy and mini boss, a dash, damage and rebound, so that if you hit the player with your dash or movement, that you would cause damage and then you would rebound so you could do another type of attack. Human shooter was very similar, but what was different was you could actually change the size of the health bar. That was the main difference, and you would also create random generated colors. We can look at our behavior tree. We have a tree here where if it's got line of sight, it will determine what kind of attack it will do and go through that sequence, or if it didn't have line of sight, it'll just return home. The AI controller would basically link to that. You would have the blackboard and the AI controller communicating with each other, dash, fire, determine line of sight, things like that. You would have a function, like in my case, you could have rotate enemy. This would allow you to, as I mentioned, rotate the enemy left or right instead of a 360 rotation. Or another task would be firing your projectiles based on your health bar. And as you can see, this would do it. It would shoot the right type colored projectile and then iterate that projectile to be fired next, and then do the animation. Let's look at something that I touched. Well, actually, no, this is something that I did. So this was the case of me creating the mini boss health bar. Before we had set it up to this degree, it did not look clear enough and it just wasn't good. I recreated it just to be a bit more functional and make it readable. As we can see with the big enemy health bar, I touched something in respects of that where you could actually change the size of the health bar based on the amount of health bar that was needed for that. I also then touched the blue projectile with the player projectiles. In this case, what I changed was or added was the case where we needed to iterate a projectile if the projectile we're about to fire was the one that got hit in our health bar, then we would have to switch it. And that's pretty much it, and thank you for your time.